Welcome to our new episode.
In the year 476 AD, Rome, the eternal city, was no longer eternal. The streets were shadowed with decay, the Senate powerless, and the army a shell of its former might. But beneath the crumbling facades and political chaos, a secret conspiracy was quietly shaping the empire's final, catastrophic war. A war that would decide the fate of Western civilization for centuries. By the time Emperor Romulus Augustulus ascended the throne, Rome had been weakened by decades of corruption, economic collapse, and the relentless pressure of barbarian tribes. The Eastern Empire and Constantinople still thrived, but the West teetered on the edge. Rome's borders were porous, and its generals often sold their loyalties to the highest bidder. Among the chaos, a man named Flavius Aetius, no longer young but still cunning, knew that survival meant more than battlefield heroics. He observed the Senate and the imperial court, noting that while generals wielded swords, it was the whispers of courtiers and the secret letters between envoys that determined power. Flavius had uncovered hints of a network operating from within Rome itself. Senators, merchants, and even religious leaders who plotted with the barbarian kings, aiming to orchestrate Rome's downfall while profiting from its demise. The first act of the conspiracy was subtle. Tribes such as the Visigoths, Vandals, and Ostrogoths had begun coordinated raids that seemed random to the untrained eye. Yet Flavius discovered coded messages hidden in grain shipments, merchant ledgers, and even in prayers recited at certain churches. These messages suggested that Rome's enemies were acting in concert, not by chance. While the empire decayed, a young nobleman, Gaius Marcellus, returned from campaigns in Gaul. He had witnessed firsthand how barbarian generals were beginning to adopt Roman tactics, blending siegecraft with their traditional methods. Gaius brought troubling news. The western provinces were not just vulnerable, they were already infiltrated. Local governors and even magistrates were colluding with barbarian kings, motivated by promises of land, wealth, and immunity from conquest. As the Senate debated endlessly, Rome's coffers emptied and the army became unreliable. The conspiracy had created the illusion of disorder, hiding its orchestration in bureaucracy and bribery. Flavius realized that to prevent complete collapse, he had to understand the conspirators' ultimate plan. But the deeper he looked, the more dangerous it became, because the conspirators were aware of his investigation, and every ally could be a traitor.
The conspirators were led by an unlikely figure, Senator Decimus Valerian, a man of charm and intellect. He had risen through the ranks by manipulating information, exploiting fear, and using religion as a shield. Valerian had secretly coordinated with Odoacer, a Germanic chieftain, promising him the crown of Italy in exchange for support against the emperor. Meanwhile, Flavius worked tirelessly to expose the network. He gathered intelligence from loyal officers, bribed scribes for intercepted letters, and even recruited spies among the barbarian camps. His efforts revealed a chilling pattern. The conspirators aimed not only to remove the emperor, but to dismantle the Western Empire entirely, leaving Italy as a puppet state under barbarian control, while enriching themselves in the process. Tensions escalated when Flavius intercepted a plan to sabotage Rome's grain supply. Starvation would weaken the populace, making the army's loyalty meaningless. To counter this, he arranged a secret convoy, disguised as routine shipments, guarded by soldiers loyal only to him. The convoy successfully reached the city, preventing immediate famine, but Flavius knew this was only a temporary solution. Gaius Marcellus played a pivotal role in uncovering the personal dimension of the conspiracy. He discovered that Valerian's network had infiltrated religious institutions, bribing priests and monks to spread messages of despair and submission. By manipulating faith, The conspirators ensured that ordinary citizens would not rise to defend the empire. Temples and churches, once centers of hope, became instruments of propaganda. Flavius's counterespionage included forging letters, creating false trails, and even staging false meetings with barbarian leaders to mislead the conspirators. But the stakes were deadly. Many loyalists who attempted to warn the emperor were murdered quietly in the night. Fear gripped Rome. Betrayal could come from anyone, anywhere. The situation reached a breaking point when Odoacer's forces crossed the Alps in 476 AD. They were aided by defectors from within the empire, including several generals and senators. The Western Roman army, demoralized and undermanned, collapsed with shocking speed. In the Senate, whispers of surrender mixed with terror as Valerian and his associates prepared for the final coup. Flavius, realizing that the city could not be saved through conventional defense, attempted one last gambit: a secret meeting with loyal senators and provincial governors to coordinate a defense and rally provincial armies. But the conspirators had anticipated his move. The meeting was ambushed, leaving Flavius and many allies captured or killed. Only Gaius managed to escape, carrying crucial intelligence that documented the conspiracy in detail, a record that would survive to inform future historians. On September 4, 476 AD, Odoacer entered Ravenna, effectively ending the Western Roman Empire. Emperor Romulus Augustulus was deposed but spared, sent into retirement with a small pension. The empire's centuries-long rule over the West had come to an abrupt, orchestrated end. Yet even in defeat, the conspiracy's shadows remained. Decimus Valerian vanished shortly after the conquest, with rumors suggesting he fled east or even sought asylum with barbarian allies. Some historians theorize that Valerian's network extended beyond Rome, with agents in Gaul, Hispania, and North Africa, ensuring that no regional power could rise to challenge the new order. Gaius Marcellus became a chronicler of events, documenting the fall of the Western Empire with unprecedented clarity. His accounts included coded letters, witness testimonies, and even diagrams of secret networks. His work, preserved in monasteries across Europe, provided future generations with insight into the hidden mechanisms behind Rome's collapse, a collapse far more orchestrated than mere military defeat or economic decline. Modern scholars studying these events have noted the sophistication of the conspiracy: manipulation of religion, strategic bribery, controlled misinformation, and carefully timed military movements. The fall of Rome, they argue, was not only the result of barbarian invasions, but also a masterclass in political and social engineering by a network of insiders exploiting the empire's weaknesses. The story of the hidden conspiracy behind Rome's final war serves as a stark reminder that empires do not always fall to overt force. Sometimes they are undone from within by those who understand the levers of power better than the rulers themselves. The lessons of Rome resonate even today, illustrating the fragility of centralized power, the danger of internal betrayal, and the enduring impact of secret networks shaping history behind closed doors. In the end, Rome's demise was not merely the story of an emperor dethroned or an army defeated. It was the story of a carefully orchestrated betrayal, the culmination of greed, ambition, and clandestine planning. The Western Empire vanished overnight, but the knowledge of its fall, the hidden conspiracy, the silent manipulations, the final war, remains a testament to the unseen forces that can determine the fate of nations.